Good evening, welcome, Friday the 19th of March 2021. You know what it is, it's Barbers Arms. Here we go, we've got a great show coming up tonight, guys. It's going to be a blockbuster. We've got the Fellowship duo after mine and Gaz's news desk. We've got Ken Picton, the president, and Barry Stevens, the chair of the Fellowship of British Hairdressing, going to be joining us in Barbers Arms for the first time. 8:45 sees Gaz's 46 cocktail. Can't even say it then. God knows how he's going to do after that. So Gaz is going to show us his 46 cocktail. I don't even know what it is tonight, but that's coming up around about 8:45. And then at 8:50 tonight, we've got MUCKTARU KARGBO, a.k.a. MK, one of my old adversaries when I first started at Wahl. MK, Manny's King, he will be joining us in Barbers Arms, and then me and Gaz will take you up to closing time, all in association with the British Barbers Association and Wahl UK. It's Friday the 19th of March. Please welcome my co-host, Mr. Gary Machin.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Simon Shaw. It's great to be here. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Just quickly, just a review of last week's show. Thanks to Kevin and Dale, absolutely stars. Thanks for coming on the show. We just hit 70,000 views for last week. As Simon says, we are day 81, week 12 of Lockdown 3. Some fun stats for the week. It's the Friday before our very first lockdown tonight. It's 19th, 23rd, I think it was, lockdown. So we're coming up to our anniversary show next week. It's also, I mean, this was quite funny. I did my research. We've got the world's most famous former doorman. Today, 2013, Pope Francis was ordained, and he was the on this day inauguration, which I thought was quite funny. He's seen as he was a former doorman. Wales have gone back last week. All our Welsh colleagues, thank you so much for giving us all the messages, all the support that you've had through the week. Hope you've had an absolutely fantastic one and you've smashed it out of the park. Scotland have had some news this week as well. 5th of April, they're going back. They beat us back by a week. So Scotland have gone back. Unfortunately, Northern Ireland, you're at the bottom of the list. So at the moment, we're hanging in there for you and I hope you have some news very, very soon. Mr. Simon Shaw, what's your week been like?
It's been okay. Cheers, mate. It's been okay. Busy week. Some nice stuff happening. Very exciting news for Barbers Arms, which we're going to announce next week. We've got a brand new media partner that's going to be joining into Barbers Arms and the Barbers Arms Expo. We're very excited. There's a few I's and T's to be dotted and crossed. But hopefully we'll be in a position next week to announce our brand new media partner that will be joining us in the Arms and also on our Expo show coming up in May. Busy week, Gas team talks and the usual working week. It's still a very, from my point of view, from traveling, well, I say on to all my team talks to everybody is, I ain't going back just yet. And I've got to be really realistic. And one thing I've been able to do is manage my own expectations is, probably 2021, but there might be a couple of trips back end of year, but rest of the time, it's just going to concentrate on the UK side of things and, give me a real good chance to really build up our momentum for Salon International. So yeah, I think that's the kind of week, normal weeks. Well, it'd be great to speak to Ken tonight because Ken Picton, the president of the Fellowship, fantastic hairdresser, got fantastic salon down there. I've spent lots of time with Ken at different award dinners and sat next to him and watched him on stage. Great presenter. Love what they did with the Fellowship Awards at Christmas. That's one of my favourite awards, barring the Shabba Awards, which, guys, I got the call this week to say I am the host again for Shabba Awards, which was fantastic. I did it in 2018. That's my first time I did it. No, 2019. And then 2020 obviously were cancelled, which would have been the 10th anniversary of the Shabba Awards. So we're going to do the 10th Shabba Awards in Glasgow on the 5th of September at the Glasgow Hilton. I think there were over 1,000 people there last time. So I'm hoping that we can get a safe but big audience in there. I love that show. And anybody who watched that show or was at that show, you'll all remember Sweet Caroline. We're going to come up with something better than that. You need to be there at that one, guys. It's fantastic. With my co-host as well, from the radio station up there, Josie Smith, who's the co-host with me up there. I'm really looking forward to it. Before we go on tonight, I've got a bit of sad news that I think most people... Gary, you might have to do this.
Right.
I'm struggling with this a bit. I'll try, guys, but I am struggling a little bit with this one. Unfortunately, on Wednesday night, just bear with me 1 second. Once this is over, guys, I'll get on with the show. But unfortunately, a friend of mine and a fantastic barber, Giovanni Tonisi from Savills, and then he's gone on to his own shop, the Italian Barberia, took his own life on Wednesday night. I'll pass over to you, Gaz, a minute.
Yeah, Giovanni, he was a great guy, man mountain, 6'6", I love. Barber, born and trained at Savills. Joff, you know, I haven't managed to get in touch with Joff at the minute. His phone's been read up, but Giovanni had his troubles and didn't get picked up, unfortunately. And you know, he found no way out and he took his own life. So our love goes out to his friends, family, everybody out there. What I will say is everybody out there who knows anybody who's been a bit off or hasn't been looking like themselves or talking like themselves, you don't have to know the signs, but it just makes all the difference if you reach out to somebody who you know or you know of, you haven't spoken to him for a while. Giovanni was, if you see all the tributes that have gone out to him today and yesterday, he was well loved within the industry, very young man, 29, opened a barbery a couple of years ago, then he left Savills. And, you know, there's no reason for these guys we shouldn't be losing these guys whatsoever. Just a quick stat is suicide is the single biggest killer of men under 45 in this country. And that means everything, all illness, accidents, everything. It shouldn't be happening. So, you know, if you know anybody, just call in on them, give them a ring. It'll be on our link to this show tonight for anybody who's suffering or is you know, taken by what we've covered tonight, Giovanni especially. If you want to get in touch with Calm, Movera, the Lions Barber Collective, all these great institutions that have set up to help people with problems. Tom Chapman, we've had on the show in the past. I didn't think we'd be talking about this again with somebody we know so very well. So,
yeah, I apologise, guys. I'm only human. I've struggled since Joff messaged me. I spoke to Joff a few times. I know he's watching now, Joff. It's tough. It's tough, and you know, I just feel that, you know, I'm only human like all of us, and you are a beautiful guy, and you know, I just wish things could have been different. It's too many times we've spoke about this on this show, and well, Gary's just mentioned that, and I know Trevor's going to put him on the recording afterwards for everybody to pick it up. I do apologise, guys, for just losing a bit there, but my emotions are strong since I've found out the news, and just, you know, my love goes out to his dad, his brother, Joth, and the Saville family. You know, just a massive talent, a massive guy. I was reading the tributes today, and I was trying to struggle a little bit what to say. I knew I was going to struggle with it, but I knew I could not go on this show tonight without speaking about Giovanni. God bless you. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I mean, it isn't something we like reporting, but because he was such a well-liked fella, and he's, you know, he's worked with Simon Joff, and he's been a part of the barbering fraternity, and our barber love goes out to all. And like I say, just get in touch with somebody you haven't spoken to for ages. Just phone them up and say, "How are you?" You know,
yeah,
got to talk. That's the only way through it.
Giovanni now would say to me, "Come on, you daft bastard, get on with it."
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to do, G. I'm going to dedicate this show to you tonight, pal. So, Gaz, coming on to it. Pull yourself together. We've got Picton and Barry Stevens coming up. The fellowship. It's a massive, as a young presenter and as a young stylist coming through. I remember me, Carl and Tina going over to the fellowship. I watched Guy Kramer, Charlie Miller and Anthony Muscola on stage. I was 20-year-old. And I'm like, the fellowship were one of the first to fetch these big names together. They've stood the test of time, but tonight's the time where we're going to say, what's going to happen with the fellowship? How are you going to move forward? You've done so well over the years. So it'd be nice tonight to find out for the people watching tonight and also people watching in the weeks coming, what the fellowship president and what the fellowship chairperson says about where the fellowship are in the next 5 years, where they think it's going to be, going. And I'm really excited for all of what they've got to say. And then MK tonight as well. Wow. It's a big show tonight, guys. Big show.
Been looking forward to it, to be honest. I put a post on earlier on just to us getting changed. Known NK for forever, feels like forever. Known Barry quite a long time. I don't know Ken so well. I've met him a couple of times. I know he's from Cardiff, very successful salon. Award-winning salons there. Barry Stevens, obviously Mutu, and he's now the chair. And I think they're going to give us some answers tonight. Hopefully, I think we're going to get some info on where they see they're going. I think Ken is from a president's point of view, he's the figurehead. He's the man who rubber stamps everything. He's the public figure. And then Barry, who's a very, very successful businessman in his own right, has taken up the reins and is trying to turn the fellowship round. He's even trying to tease me into becoming a member. So depending on what answers they give us tonight, we'll see if I sign up or not. So, and then MK is going to give us an insight into what he's been doing through lockdown. Been very successful on his Training Tuesday. So I'm looking forward to it. It should be a good show tonight. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. As I say, it's been a mixed week, some good positive stuff, obviously that devastating news, but we have to move on. And as Gary said, everything's going to be on the website and also on this show afterwards as well. Don't forget to follow us on Simon Shaw Wahl. Gary is the British Barber. Barbers_arms. There are our Instagrams that you can follow us all on. If you want to look on the website for the past 45 episodes that we've done, nearly 6 million views. That is the barbersarms.co.uk. And if you want to email us, we've got some great guests coming up the next 5 or 6 weeks. And with our new media partner, it's going to be really exciting. It's really moving forward. You can email us at barbersarms@thebritishbarber.com. Those are our social media sites. Just quickly, can you believe it's 12 months nearly to the day? We'll be our next show next week will be our 12-month anniversary of actually being locked down. Can you believe that? I can't get my head around it. I mean, we're day 81 of third lockdown. You couldn't write this, could you?
It's been a tough one, this though. I think everybody struggled with this January one. We all said it summer, didn't we? Brilliant, nice weather. Can you imagine if it were winter? Well, we've done it. Can I imagine it's 12 months? No, it's flown by. But will I look back at this in my career and think it's something to be proud of? No, I'll not, because it's going to continue. This is now something that's going to be stapled in the British Hairdressing and British Barbering diaries every Friday. Might be different guests sometimes. Me and Gaz do need an holiday and a break, and I'm sure when the flights are opened up, Gaz will be off to his beautiful 7-bedroom villa in Spain. I'll just go to one of them cheap hotels in Benidorm. But I'm sure I'm sure we'll need some people to come and follow. A bit like the Alan Brazil's breakfast show. We'll get them on there. But yeah, it's 12 months, guys. But you'll look back at your career at this and think, I think Jackie said it. Jackie summed it up perfectly when she said it. She said, you'll be able to look back, college lecturers will be able to show students in 10 years' time what 2020, 2021 were like for the hairdressing and barbering industry. Look at some of the Barbers' Arms episodes. They interviewed some of the top people in the world. They told you the struggles. They told you when, they were back to work, what visors were like, what wearing masks were like, gloves, PPE, hygiene sprays. Unfortunately, we lost some unbelievable giants of people in the industry, you know, and Barbers Arms has captivated that hopefully every Friday for everybody. I know I'm getting lovely messages in off everybody. I do apologise for the early part of it, but I don't really, because that's just natural emotion. You can't be a robot. But yeah, I will always look back at this part of my career and look and with fondness. I think we're having a few problems tonight with Zoom. It seems to be freezing and lagging a little bit, so we're trying to do everything we can on the production side to help you out with that, guys. But just bear with us.
I think Jackie's reporting on as freezing. I think it's just I'm standing particularly still tonight.
Whilst he's standing still, we've got, for the first time here on Barbers Arms, we have representatives from the fellowship, but not just representatives from the fellowship. We have the president of the fellowship for British Hairdressing and the chairperson for fellowship of British Hairdressing. Please welcome Mr. Ken Picton and Mr. Barry Stevens in the house.
Good evening.
Hello, boys.
How are you, fellas? You well?
First of all, Ken, I've got to ask you. Nice to see you, bro. Barry, I've never met you. Nice to meet you. Me and
Good
Ken,
evening.
I said in my intro earlier, I see Ken more or less when we're very lucky to get invited by different magazines to awards. We always get the best seats in the house. He's either comparing or I am, or we sat right on a table right near the stage. So we're very privileged, but we fucking deserve it because we're top draw. But Ken, how's Wales? What's happening? We're back. You're the first back.
Hey, mate, you know, they say, have you heard the saying, the sun shines on the righteous and the Welsh? And the Welsh, may I say. So listen, not only are we spanking everybody in rugby, we got the refs on our side, everything. We're only open for hairdressing in Wales for hairdressers and barbers. How's that? And we opened on Monday. So yeah, it's been a kind of a whirlwind week, to say the least. We were given the nod last Friday that you can open up on Monday, and it was like, you know, bonkers. It was mental. The phones went mad. It was clambering lists, and do you know what? It's kind of weird, really. My bones are aching tonight, so this beer is going down really well. I'm actually here in my bar in the Salon, by the way, guys. So I have a real life bar.
Wow.
So I thought I would definitely share this. So it's a real life one. But yeah, so
you might be able to help me then, because I might be able to get out, Gary, a bit quicker, because now you just give me a brainwave there. Wales are open, so I might be able to get out. Wahl have kept me under wraps for 12 months. Now it's going to be, I'm going to go down to Wales, because now he's got that bar there. I'll do your reception for you. I'm brilliant at retail sales. Your retail sales will go through the roof, and I'll just stand at the bar.
Exactly, and you can do some education while you're here.
Ken,
I get paid.
Ken, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. Lovely to meet you. Barry,
Me too.
I'll introduce you, because, I mean, that wasn't a very good introduction, was it? Hiya, Barry. I don't know you really, but I've never met you. So
I'll give him a nice build-up before.
I have met you, back. I know. Barry, I've met you a few times. You're a gentleman. You've taken on your new position as chair of the fellowship, which is fantastic news. I'm sure everybody will agree it's in good hands. And we're going to talk to Ken to see how you're bossing him around as well. So we'll see. We'll have Ken's version of it in a minute as well.
Now I am worried.
But I should give you your full title, because when I meet you usually at a show somewhere, or you're bending me here, or, you know, we're having a pint or something, your real name is Barry Tourette's Stevens, isn't it? Because you are.
Yes.
Simon, he said to me tonight, he says, I won't get in trouble on the show tonight for swearing. Well, and I goes, oh no, you've only got 100,000 people to worry about upsetting, so you'll be fine. Simon does it all the time anyway.
Yeah, I'd normally piss that many people off before breakfast, Gary.
Well, Barry, you'll be okay. I've took my Tourette's tablet and I've took my slimming tablet today. Neither of the fuckers have worked, so we should be okay.
I know that feeling.
We should be okay.
just before we go on, Barry, and Ken, I want you to do the same, because what we're going to do with this is we'll ask you a question, and generally you'll answer one after each other. You'll answer the same question, or if the question is particularly for yourself, so we don't talk over each other. But if you could quickly, for those guys who I'm sure, you know, especially Ken, but for those guys who don't know your story and where you're from and what you do, can you just give us 2-minute bio on who you are, what you are, and where you are at the moment? Barry,
Right.
you first.
Right, I'll make this short and sweet. My background couldn't be any further away from hairdressing. I started off in mergers and acquisitions in the PLC world, working down in the city. And for my sins, 15 years ago, I set up Mutu, which does all of the infrastructure for salons only. This is the non-sexy side of the business, so I'll make it very quick. So we do all of the telecoms, broadband, Wi-Fi, IT support. Everybody's moving over to cloud now. So we have become an absolute essential business provider. And it's we haven't stopped throughout lockdown. So I'm touching wood there. We've never been any busier.
Fantastic.
Now,
and you took your position when with the fellowship?
June last year, I officially started. So I am 8 months into the role.
And what's your role with the fellowship?
So I'm the chair, which effectively Ken is like Colonel Sanders. We wheel him out when we need him to parade him round at all the shows. He takes all of the limelight. I am mainly dealing with the toilet spins and tidying up desks at the end of the day. But considering we'd never worked together 8 months ago, it feels like 8 years now. Ken, I don't know how it's feeling for you.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's a long time I've been joined to the hip to you, Barry. That's for sure.
Yes,
Because we are now officially joined at the hip.
We are, and it's a very privileged position, Gary and Simon. So I'm really, really excited to have come in at this time.
Perfect. Right, over to you, Ken. And remember, minutes, Ken.
Yeah, I know. It took me 2 minutes just to work out what to say when he was just saying it. But yeah, I guess from a hairdressing point of view, I own a multi-destination 6,500 square foot salon based in Cardiff Bay. We've been going 30 years. Nice award-winning team, do shoot shows all around the world. A bit like Simon there, you know, to some to 10,000, some to 10 people, and it varies around that. I'm also, in the guise of, obviously tonight, I'm the current president for the fellowship for British hairdressers. So don't listen to anything he says. I'm the mastermind behind everything that happens there. I just use him to make sure it gets done. I've been in the position for 2 years, and they've managed to twist my arm to stay on for another year. So I'll be the first president in 75 years to have done more than 2-year term, and that's generally because it's impossible to do more. So for some bizarre reason, they've nailed me to the post. But it's, you know, it's great. We're doing masses of changes within the organisation, and obviously the idea is you know, to bring the creative side that I have as within the industry, and to make sure we're developing and nurturing the future and the youngsters and the industry as a whole. So that was a quick one.
That was quick for him, Gaz.
I think he forgot there that he's a multi-award winning salon at the same time as well. He's been
He didn't get that in.
Very coy, very coy.
So guys,
and I got 5 kids, as has Barry there. So
Yes,
we have something else in common.
We're looking for a goalkeeper if anybody's interested.
Well, I'm sure we could arrange that. We've all got football in his blood. I know I speak to Ken quite a bit. Obviously, I've been down to Cardiff quite a lot to watch my son play for Leeds United down there. So, Barbers Arms, we started nearly 12 months ago. Can you believe it or not? And we're up to 6 billion views, 375,000 downloads on a podcast. It's now the #1 viewed show in hairdressing and barbering. It started off as a bit of a giggle, but I don't think the producers saw it as that. We've got an expo coming up if you've watched the show, guys, what's going to happen is we're going to ask you some career questions and some. Tonight we've get it around the fellowship. We've had the phone lines are there stopping it a minute. The messages that's peeping in to ask you questions, it's like pinging every 2 seconds. And then we'll finish off some quick fire questions. Gaz has got a bit of a game for you to play where you have 2 minutes to have a rave or rant. And then we'll finish off some quick fire questions before we leave you. First question will go to both of you. Obviously, I don't know if you saw there at the beginning of the show, I said about, as a 20-year-old coming out of Yorkshire, my first fellowship event might have been in Hammersmith. I went to watch Charlie Miller, Guy Kramer and Anthony Mascola on stage, and I were hooked as a 20-year-old travelling down from Yorkshire. We were lucky enough at Dimensions at that point before I went to work for Wahl. We used to go and do lots of shows at Salon and stuff, as other brands do as well. I'm a massive fan of the fellowship. However, guys, it's been a tough 12 months. Where do we see the fellowship moving as an organisation in the next 5 years? What are you doing, Barry? What are you doing, Ken, in your... And I did say this to the production team. I'm sure he's doing another year, which I've never known before. It's 2 years for a president. What are we doing as an organisation to keep that massive aura that we have? And how are we going to keep it moving forward? What's the plan in the next 5 years?
Well, I think from a membership point of view, we've taken the decision to make it a monthly subscription rather than a lump sum up front. And it's individual membership now, because we were noticing we were working with large groups and there could be 30, 40 people rock up from a big franchise and we weren't sure who was a member, who wasn't. So we've now got that under control, which is considerably helping the membership go in the right direction. And we've had fantastic support from the sponsors, considering the conditions that we're working in at the moment. And as you've pointed out, we are 1 or 2 phone calls away from anybody in the industry who will give their time for nothing for the fellowship. So it's a bit like going to meet the rock stars. I've been involved in the fellowship 15 years, from going to the luncheon and going to the events and seeing what happens behind the scenes now. It's a huge machine. And prior to me coming on board, Ken had started making some serious changes that would have been impossible to even start tackling with his 2 years, and the fact that COVID hadn't happened. So Ken, if you want to just sort of introduce the sort of stuff that you were looking at before I jumped on board.
Yeah, I think, look, the one thing that really strikes you as a fellowship, and, there's lots of different perceptions of the organization, from, the stuffy old boys club, with the who's who and you can't get in, and elitist, to the fact that we actually, as an organization, are one of the probably where we're non-political, so we're non-brand specific, but we elevate the future of the industry. And that really is the core backbone. When I come in, I kind of wanted to really focus on changing the strapline to be, with creativity and opportunity. And one of the things I realized that the fellowship does better than anything that I've ever come across is it creates unique opportunities for every part of the industry. So, it's not just, for instance, the superstars of hairdressing, although they are all here, like, just for argument's sake, the Fame team, it's where, 4, I know, guys, but it's where 4 people get picked. They go through a year's process to get chosen to become part of the Fame team. And that journey elevates them into, superstardom. But the way it catapults them is they spend a year dealing with and being mentored by some of the greatest hairdressers in the industry. And guess what, Simon? This is the best bit. They all give it to us for nothing. It's the most unique model you'll ever come across in your life. If anyone says to me,
I used to have many arguments with our financial director at Dimensions, not with Wahl, but before I went to work for Wahl, is that, we'd be traveling to London on a Saturday morning to do a show at the fellowship at 10 o'clock at Salon, which is it's the graveyard shift. But we're a young northern company. It was costing like $3,500 to do this. And we're like, what's the benefit? He just couldn't get his head around it. Do you know what I mean? But we did it free of charge.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, and it is unique, and I think that's the point. Then, so what I try to do is really recognise on the core foundations of what we do, and we're making sure that we create opportunity not just for our members but for our sponsors, and that everyone gets that benefit. We then obviously really ramping up the projects and realigning all of them, because we have a unique, and I know Wahl and I know you guys have been involved, but we have this unique project arm where people can pay to go on this year-long journey, a bit like the Fame team, but it can be Project Color, it could be Project Men, it could be Project X. We're soon to launch in some new ones with Project Afro, Project Avant-Garde, where those are some of the things in the pipeline. And it allows individuals to be mentored by the best of the best within the industry. So again, they're unique. And obviously the key one for us was we launched it pre-COVID, was the knowledge. And this was our digital arm, really. And what happened is, whilst we launched it in 2019, just over, COVID arrived and it catapulted our organization, because we were ready, a bit like what you guys are doing today. I did a thing where every Friday night in the first lockdown, I used to do a show from here called Drinks with the President, and I'd have people coming on. It was all just a bit of banter, but it was communicating with them. So in a nutshell, the idea of the fellowship is we're trying to modernize its appeal, be more attractive to all aspects of the industry, including, like I say, barbering, hairdressing, freelance industry, and as well as elevating the youngsters through and connecting them. And I guess then the most important one we have is this absolute unique networking opportunity for, like you say, when you were there in young salons trying to get yourself on the circuit, we can create those platforms as well. And that's what we're trying to do, widen the appeal, really.
I know you guys have got so much going on, and Simon's got a question for you going forward with live shows, but there is a couple of things, Barry, if I put this one to you as well. You've got a couple of things going on, new things that are starting as well. You've got your Connect, and you're doing some collaborations as well with Choose Hair as well. Just give us a quick lowdown on what you're doing there as well, because I know this is really important. It's something close to my heart as well with Choose Hair, because it's about bringing the new generation through. But just quickly, if you can, just give us a lowdown on what you're doing with Choose Hair and Connect as well.
So we've got a new business and networking forum for our members, which is the main focus of the fellowship, has always been 99.9% creativity, which will continue, which is fantastic. But we've had to recognize that people aren't match fit enough to go back to work. They've fallen into bad habits. This third lockdown has been torturous for a lot of people. And we are launching our Connect program that starts next Tuesday at 10 o'clock with Restart Your Business, Re-energize Your Team, and re-engage with your clients. The following Tuesday, it's all about re-energizing your teams. And the third one, obviously, from what Simon was saying at the top of the show with well-being and mental health, we've got to recognize that this is a huge issue, that we're not saying that we're tackling it, Gary, we're just signposting people. We're bringing on the professionals with a Q&A session where people can hopefully get some idea of work and that they can get some help if it's required. And the other thing that we're focusing on, which is a huge thing both Ken and myself have got behind this, is we want to have a true fellowship scholarship where we can actually help some individuals get onto the ladder, place them in fellowship salons, and get right back into the grassroots of the industry.
That sounds fantastic.
Do you know what? I think it goes without saying, I think that, especially with Choose Hair as well, and that's something I think the industry needs as well, because not in just from fellowship, but throughout the industry, we're going to be in trouble if we don't look after our young stars who are coming through as well. So I take my hat off to you. Fantastic.
Well, we have the ability in the network to deliver it, Gary. As far as I'm concerned, it's just red tape and somebody pressing the button. So Ken and I are right behind this, and we'll make sure
I think it's like you say, it's true to our heart. I think there are lots of young youngsters who want to get into the industry, and especially after this last year, you know, families have suffered everything. And I think, you know, the part that Choose Hair is doing, where they're really looking for someone who potentially is underprivileged, who can't get in, and their families are struggling to be able to support them, to try and sponsor and make sure someone like that has an opportunity, and, you know, becomes, you know, a fame team winner in 10 years time, and becomes the president in 20 years time. To think we helped them get on the ladder would be amazing. And I think we need a bit of that, a bit more of that in the industry now, I think.
I love the idea about just you know, doing the scholarship stuff, and having salons that, once they've gone through that scholarship program, that will be looking to take them people on because they know that they've been trained the fellowship way. Or, you know, I just love, you know, where I'm like with education anyway, Ken. It's what we do. Lots of a lot of our guests that's been on the show: Errol, Rick Roberts, Matt Woolley, joining us in Barbers' Arms tonight, guys. You've got Ken Picton, the president of the fellowship. I know you all know that, Errol and Rick. Nice to have you here. And we've got Barry Stevens, the chair, with what already we're seeing here. The messages coming in saying, you know, this sounds fantastic for the fellowship. I think we needed to do it. I think you needed a breath of fresh air. It's already up there. You've no competition though, because there's not like in the years gone by where there were like the guild, the federation. The fellowship is really, it's a bit like Wahl. And no disrespect to the other brands, but we don't have a lot of competition at exhibitions. We're the biggest. So what you have to do, you Andy, what you have to do, but no, it's a true story, this. What you have to do is you have to compete against yourselves. You have to look at within your own organisation, say, how do we better it? My next question, though, leading on to that, and it's something that, you know, I've been discussing today as a global brand. We was probably one of the first last year, around about April, May. Wahl made a decision. We pulled out of Salon International because we knew it weren't going to be right for our staff to be there no matter what happened. We didn't even know in April how long this was going to go on, but we made the right decision, and we've pulled out of every event. We signed up for Salon International in a big way this year, but there's not going to be anything for us happening up until probably October as live events. Where does the fellowship stand on live events? Barry first.
Do you want me to go? Go on then, yeah. Well, obviously, you are governed by whatever guidelines come out, and that's the first and foremost one. So with regards to where we are, because we have such a spectrum of live events, from, like you say, Salon International, which is probably one of our biggest live events, down to, and then including things like President's Night, which, you know, we all talk about, which would be a guys, and then we drop down into what we call master classes and those type of things. So the truth is come the 12th of April, a lot of our smaller individualized specific events will start and kick back in for our members. We do have a plan as well where we're planning, it is our 75th anniversary in the fellowship. And we are this year planning around about the beginning of July to celebrate that in quite a big way. And we have different things lined up for that. Whether, I mean, I don't know if you guys saw, but we did our awards.
We've got some questions coming up about that.
Which was an evening with the fellowship. And that was a great way how we would be able to deliver that with our, so we did have people on set, socially distanced, obviously. So we're hoping come July, we can reactivate our events quite strongly. But obviously we are, you know, hugely governed by that. If nothing else, an event where we can all meet together and get pissed, because we're really good at that as well. Do you know what I mean? And that'll be a starting point for us all.
Barry, where's your stance on this? Are you same as Ken? Obviously, you work together closely, but what's your general, as a business, what's your general view on live events?
We've had to take a blended approach with last year going online, and we tried to do things differently. We didn't just want to do what we were doing on stage and point a camera at it and say that that's good enough for our members, because it's not. So we did try to do things differently. I am always in contact with members and people who are performing on stage and asking them, you know, what is it about the fellowship that you want to get involved with? And it's networking and getting onto a fellowship stage. So we've got people queuing up, Simon, who want to get
I
back
can imagine
to
it.
this. And we have to have plan A, plan B, and plan C for this year. We are gearing up to go to Salon International. You know, we want to be there bigger, better, louder, larger. And as Ken says, the smaller events will be coming back online. And we work within the parameters of the law to put events on. It could end up with Ken renting a field somewhere in Wales and inviting 2,000 people. We're not sure yet.
So men and sheep get worried.
Barry, Simon, can I just jump in there? Barry, I know this is one off the wall because you know, as educators and as from a BBA's point of view, traveling the world, and we try to interact with you know, all the top, if you like, organizations around the world. Yes. Intercoiffure is recognized. I'm guessing that's the equivalent of you guys now, is it? We have intercoiffure around the world. So where do you fit with that? I know we because in the past we've had intercoiffure presidents on here. We've had Frank Gambuza and you know, different people, Van Michael and people like that have been on the show who are really heavy into intercoiffure in the States, North America. Where do you fit with that? Where do you guys fit internationally? Well,
logically going to English-speaking countries first. We're in talks with people in Australia, North America and Canada at the moment with regards to widening our reach, because the digital side isn't going to go away. That's just going to continue to grow and get people involved. With Zoom, with everybody getting over the hair and makeup syndrome, which, you know, a year ago took someone an hour to jump on a call. Now it's the most normal thing to do. So that is, you know, that's made people a lot more accessible. And the people in those countries that we're speaking to see the fellowship as the jewel in the crown of British hairdressing, and they want to be involved with us. So as far as I'm concerned, it's just about collaboration with those bodies.
Yeah. I think also, like you say, with Intercoiffure, you know, they've set their markets around. I think, you know, let's be clear, British barbering, hairdressing, you know, it really is recognized globally across the country. I mean, November 2019, I actually flew out to China. This was literally 2 months before COVID. To discuss, you know, them sponsoring, bringing the Fame team to do a show to 10,000 people out there, and they were headlining over Intercoiffure and any of those organizations that had been invited there. They literally were going to be headlined in it. Obviously, that all went completely tits up for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's what it shows with the fellowship and the connection that it has in that sense. Like I say, over the last X amount of years, the Fame team have done huge shows at Expo in Australia, in Sydney and stuff like that. So, you know, the knowledge platform is definitely given us an opportunity, you know, not only to go globally, to go regionally as well. I mean, that's one of the you know, the headaches of the fellowship over the years. It's been London centric. You must know that, Simon. You know, I certainly knew it from Cardiff. It was something that was slanted at us, and it was very difficult to do that. But like you say, the knowledge opens that up totally now. And
I think it used to be said it's a London organisation run by Londoners for Londoners. But I used to try and say it's not actually, once you get into it and once you do your you know, once you've shown Anna and that you can do like shows 5 or 6 times and spend about 40 grand and not earn any money from it, you'll be all right then. You'll
oh yeah, that's the acid test, Simon.
Once you've gone bankrupt a few times because you did fellowship shows and all your profits went on fellowship, you'll be all right then. But listen, guys,
do you know what though? That's the irony. People did it, and people still do it because it's people want to be on our stages, which is just, and it still continues now. It's incredible.
And it never did me any harm in my career. And through one show that I did at fellowship, somebody in that audience were watching me from Wahl.
Yeah, amazing.
So all I can say to anybody in a careers talk is that I was 28 and I was working on a stage for Dimensions where maybe 30 people in the audience did a fellowship. It was a Saturday show, and it really worked. And, you know, I can only look back and, you know, think of stuff I did with the fellowship at Café de Paris, where we did the movie nights and stuff like that. I would not change what I did. All that money we spent, all the investment we made, and all the arguments I had with the financial director at Dimensions at the time. For me personally, it paid off because there was just that one show, one person watching that audience said, "We want you to come and do this." And 22 years later, I'm still at Wahl and I'm their global artistic director. So
do you know?
Our strap line is you saw them here first, Simon.
But do you know what, Simon? You've hit a point there, and I think this is. I'm glad you mentioned that, because we would only discuss. I was discussing it with Barry last week, and you know, we've launched a spotlight, which is, you know, we do members night where normally new members they're put on the platform, a bit like you say, they're spotted, you know, and they're really initially spotted by the fellowship, and that allows them to get the bigger stages and go to Salon and do all of that kind of stuff. But one of the things that we identified and why we're using spotlights in the digital platform, so people are sending in their 4-minute presentations, and we're going to make a whole program based on it, and we're going to push it out, showcasing our members. But what we did recognize was not only does it give you the opportunity to showcase yourself to the industry, you can showcase yourself to brands that you want to put yourself in front of, and you're a testament of that. Well, absolutely, and I'm glad you mentioned that.
You can use this, Barry. You can use this whenever you have your meetings or any talks. But at Salon, at Pro Air, wherever the fellowship is, I have 2 girls that work with Wahl who do what, because I'm busy on our stage, the talent spotting. And I would say at Salon International, they'll spend maybe 3 or 4 hours at fellowship stand, and I want to know who's good, who's different, who's not being seen by anybody, what's the next new view. And they come back and feed back to me for me then to start to investigate. So look, I've said it here first on Barbers Arms and the fellowship. Guys, time's pressing. We've got lots of things to get through. Just quick, briefly, because I've got one question I want to ask you both, which is a bit more of a serious question. But I'm going to go back to the awards in December, which obviously I had to do the Wahl Awards virtually this year, which were different, but still, I felt that we, at Salon International, you've got maybe 1,000, 1,500 people watching you. When we did the Wahl Barber of the Year, we had something like 17, 18,000 people view. So we got the stats that said, actually, at Salon this year, we're going to have all our shows will be virtually streamed live globally every time we go on stage. So we've learned lots from this. How did you feel? I watched it live. It was brilliant. I thought your cocktails. I thought you were copying Gaz, but yeah, your cocktails were fantastic, and the whole night was a real. And when Michael and Gary won the fellowship Hairdresser of the Year, I was a bit disappointed that they couldn't do it at the nice hotel in London. But how did you feel it went?
I think for us, the feedback we had was incredible. You know, it was. And, you know, what we did was we kind of looked at it and we were like, look, this is normally a posh luncheon on Park Lane, you know, with everyone suited and booted. That was never going to happen. So we kind of tried to look at everything we'd done over the year. So we launched Drinks with the President again. It was a Friday night bit of fun thing for me. I did it from this bar. We set that up live. We had our live lounge, which is, you know, you've been on it. It's part of this, you know, that kind of live interview live stage. And obviously then we tried to work on live awards. So to have that illustrious little audience of people who were some award winners and everything, it actually made it quite special. Feedback was superb. It was great fun. And, you know, Clive from CS Media, he did an incredible job of piecing it all together and making it a bit of a fun, you know, kind of TFI Friday, let's have a thing, live band.
That's exactly the feeling that you got watching it. It was kind of feeling that it was that kind of feeling to it. You know, Gaz is like, we tried to do this show around Graham Norton, and we try and get Gaz around the Graham Norton character. I'm just a sideshow to him, but he's fitting really well. I'm going to pass you on to Gaz in a second to do rave or rant. My last question, because time is pressing. This is to both of you. So, Ken, if you want to answer first, it's a little bit different away from the fellowship, but when Gaz has finished his rave or rant, we're going to come back for some quick fire questions to build a profile on Barry and Ken. But this question goes to both of you. Ken, you answer first. Ken, what is the most defining moment of your career?
So in 2012, after obviously I opened 30 years ago the zoo, and then in 2000 I moved to the Bay. I kind of put my head down, got building on the business, and then kind of started developing it in. And I do think there was a point in 2012 where I won the Most Wanted Businessman of the Year. I won the British Hairdressing, Wales and Southwest Hairdressing of the Year, and the Salon won the Salon of the Year. And for me, that was that moment where I kind of thought, you know what, we've got some things right here. The business side from the Salon, the creative side from the hairdressing, and obviously me being the champion businessman, which is, you kind of feel like you've actually arrived and you're doing something. So probably that moment was when I realized that, yeah, I'm doing all right here. And when I bought my first Ferrari.
Well,
Barry?
Mine's easy. Being voted in as the chair of the fellowship. I've got to say, I think it's the best job in the world. Really, it's understated what goes on behind the scenes, and if we can get this this scholarship underway, that will be, for me, a start to something in a completely different direction for the fellowship, and also a nice car.
So when we went out to the British Hairdressing Awards, and you beat me in to be last in the hotel, that night out didn't count as one of your greatest moments then?
Well, that has never been surpassed when somebody actually comes in for breakfast from the night before. I've got to say, that is still the record.
Welcome, Barry. Welcome to our world.
Yeah.
Before we pass on to Gaz about rave, we were once in Dubai, and I was staying on for we did some exhibitions out there, and Gary was with the BBA, I was with Wahl. They were going to fly back on the Thursday, went out on the Wednesday night. I left him about 2 o'clock in the morning, went back to the hotel. I stayed on for a few days vacation. And he phoned me from the airport. He never went to bed. He just got straight on the plane at 7 a.m. He'd stayed out all night. It's a beast.
I am lightweight compared to you guys, I can assure you.
Gaz, over to you. Rant or rave?
Right, guys. Right, fellas, we have a bit of fun. Just 2 minutes. We have a piece on the show that's called Rant or Rave. And you can rant for 2 minutes or you can rave for 2 minutes. And what we do is, for the rant or rave part of the show, we spin a wheel and you get given a subject to rant or rave on. Now, we don't actually know what it is. So, production, can you please spin the wheel for us? And we can't actually see this on our screens. Only the viewers can. So we get told as it goes up on screen. And
I'm feeling stitched up, Ken.
Your rant or rave subject is going to show us up in a minute. It's going to be the cancel culture. So what he means by that is, this is coming from our producer in Australia. So cancel culture, what he's talking about really is everything that's being cancelled out, all history that people don't like, bits of history that people don't like are being cancelled out at the moment. For example, episodes of Faulty Towers, or, whatever it is, for whatever reason, you've got it already. So who's going to go first?
I'll go first.
So Barry,
I'm going to try. Okay.
2 minutes now.
Right. Well, I'm just watching these things happen with absolute bewilderment, where statues are being taken down and history is trying to be erased. and people are asking the government to apologise for things that happened 400 years ago. And I am constantly amazed by this country's capitulation to these sorts of accusations and the way that they deal with it. I just don't understand it. Now, I lived in France for 10 years and I was a guest in their country, and I behaved like a guest in their country. I didn't try to tell them what to do, how to live their lives, what language to speak. I just fitted in. And I just don't understand why so many people just try and buck the system. I just don't get it at all. It's, sorry. Was that
all right, where do I start? Right, statues. Let's go to statues. Why? Guess what? They're trying to rip down General Picton's in Wales, okay? Because somewhere along the line he was connected badly, you know, under all these different things. Now, are these movements relevant? Absolutely 100. We have to talk about them. They're relevant. But the truth is you cannot take General Picton because he's a descendant of mine, okay? And you cannot wipe my history as a family out ever. So let's all champion General Picton statue. Because there's castles named after him, there's streets named after him. I was named after him. So yeah. So, but I'm with it. No, we can't cancel history. We need to learn from history. The subjects are relevant, but let's not wipe it out as if it would never exist or it was just purely a bad thing, because times are different all the time. Let's save General Picton.
Yeah.
Well done, guys. Really good. Not an easy. When that came up, guys, it came up on our monitors, and I'm like, "What does that mean?" Even I explained it. So cool.
It's all very highbrow at the fellowship, Simon.
I thought we were going to have a
I'm like, what's wrong with you in Australia? Why do you keep coming up with these things like this?
I thought it was about late clients who cancel last minute. That's what
So
I was.
did I.
I was ready for that one. I was coming straight at you. Where the bastards? What they think we're trying to do?
All right, guys, we're going to finish off with some quick fire questions, and then we'll do a little profile right at the end here. So we'll start off with you, Barry. Barry, what's your favourite food?
Chinese.
Chinese.
Yes.
What's your favourite drink?
Jack Daniels.
Jack D. Nice. What's your favourite music?
Heavy metal.
Weirdo.
Thank you.
Favourite destination?
Barbados.
Nice. And who is your favourite past president?
Well, actually, technically Ken Picton, but he stayed on, so.
Ken Picton it is. Okay, here we go then. Ken, what's your favourite food?
Anything cooked over fire outdoors.
So we'll go BBQ. And what's your favourite drink?
Wine.
And favourite music?
I'm going to say pop.
Favourite destination?
New York or Moscow.
They're too far away.
Or I'm.
Who is your favourite past president? I know it's a tough one, but come on, let's do it.
I'm going to say Errol Douglas, being so he's on watching. But if he's gone, and I'll tell you the truth.
It's been a pleasure to have you on the show. We've been really looking forward to this. You know, our guests are now, and we're going to speak about some of the guests that's coming up, guys, on Barbers Arms. All the information as well for the fellowship, where you can find out about all this. This will be coming up on your screens right now. We've had Ken Picton, the president of the Fellowship for British Hairdressing, and Barry Stevens on the show. We've got Ken Picton, who's having his favourite food, which is some barbecue. He's having his favourite drink, which is some wine. He's listening to some Wham, which is his favourite pop music. He's doing all of this in New York, and he's doing this with Errol Douglas, who is favourite past president of the fellowship. Sat across in the table in a different destination, we've got Barry Stevens, who's having Chinese food, drinking his favourite Jack Daniels drink. He's listening to some AC/DC, Highway to Hell.
Yes.
He's in Barbados, which is doing really well with his career. And he's doing all this with the amazing Ken Picton, which is really tough, coming from New York. We've got the president and the chair of the fellowship. These guys are going to take this organization to the next level. I really believe in you guys. You can call on Wahl for anything you want. You know that, guys.
Thank
But
you.
guys, Barbers Arms, your thousands that's watching tonight and over this next week, thank you to the guys from the fellowship.
Thank you. And just one more thing, I can't leave without taking any money. Gary, I expect to see you signed up by tomorrow morning, please.
I was going to say that in my parting shot, you've been
Have we convinced you?
you've been two very, very interesting and very sociable gentlemen. Thanks for coming on the show. Phone me tomorrow and I'll sign you. You've convinced me. I'll sign on the
Top man.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Wow, that's a busy evening so far, guys. We're getting the guys out there from the fellowship. I thought that were a bit. Look, I'm a massive fan of the fellowship anyway, so I thought they were superb. Exactly what I needed tonight.
It was quite funny, really, because you didn't know Barry, because you know when we had Barry Stevens, your Barry Stevens on,
You got confused a bit, didn't you?
You did, yeah. So Barry Stevens, you didn't know. Ken Picton, I didn't really know. So it was a good balance there. But two gentlemen, and I think they're going to do great things with the fellowship, I'm sure. Like you said,
time's pressing. It's cocktail time for you, mate. 46 cocktail on the 19th of March 2021, lockdown 3, day 81. Here we go. 46 cocktail on Barbers Arms. What you got in store for us tonight?
Right, ladies and gents. So tonight's cocktail is, and this is because, and I really struggled today for a cocktail of the day, and I should have phoned one of the guys. I didn't know Ken had got his own bar, and so I should have phoned for one of his cocktails. But today we are having a Bridgetown Daiquiri, and the only reason is this, and this is a bit of a homage to our producer, who is in Australia at the minute. He's in Adelaide, but it is today the anniversary of the Sydney Harbour Bridge opening in 1932. So this was the anniversary daiquiri for opening of the Sydney Harbour Bridge. So start off with, we've got some rum. We got our jigger, wherever it is. I dropped it earlier. So we've got 50 ml or 2 parts rum. I'm using dead man's finger tonight. Havana Club would have been good, but I've got dead man's finger. This is one of the barmaid's actual Christmas presents, so it's still got the tinsel on. She loves this, so we put that in. First of all, I should put the items. So we're shaking this over ice. Dead man's finger, 50 ml or 2 parts. So we've used that already. Then we've got some maraschino liqueur, which is maraschino cherries, but it's the liqueur part. So we put that in there. That goes in. We've got 12.5 ml or half of 25. So there's your 50. There's your 25. We put half of that in. So there's 1 shot. There's 2 shots. We've had half a shot of maraschino liqueur. Then we've got some sugar syrup. Same again. We're using Moaning tonight. Again, 12.5 ml. So half a shot. That goes in. Put that over there. A bit sticky, but this is a daiquiri, so it's nice and sweet, really. Then we got our grapefruit juice. So grapefruit juice again. It's only a touch it, about 15 ml, something like that. We're using ruby grapefruit juice. So it's really gives us the colour in the actual cocktail. And then I've done it early, so I didn't have to do it. I've squeezed some fresh line. So we've about half a shot of that in again as well. And then we shake it all up. So gonna just take that off, and just while we get our glass, so we're putting no ice in the glass, we're using a coupe glass. So you can get different types of coupe glass. Some are a bit deeper and a bit shallower, but this is a coupe glass. So we always serve it in a coupe glass, and we're going to strain it. So I'm using the strainer within. We haven't got fine strain tonight, so we're straining it straight from the shaker. And there we have it, perfectly formed. If you want to put a wedge of grapefruit on the side, I particularly don't like grapefruit, would you believe? But I'm going to drink it anyway because I'll take one for the team. Good health, everybody. Episode 46, number 46 on the cocktail.
Nice. So coming up, we've got MK just about to join us in the house as well. It's been a packed show tonight. I thought the fellowship guys were great. We've all got some great information about where the fellowship's going with their organisation. Such a massive heritage, the fellowship, and it is a rock star of who's who when you line up on the fellowship and you watch people, and it's a great talent spotter as well. So it's fantastic.
Can I just say something as well, Simon, which a lot of people don't know, and the guys touched on it earlier, that they do all this for free. You know, anybody that goes in or does anything for the fellowship, they don't get paid. Well, can I just say as well, these two guys who've just been on are absolute stars, and you know, it's in very good hands. But I don't know if people know this, but Barry is a very, very successful. And I forgot to ask him what his backdrop was as well. I think it's the Four Seasons in Mumbai or something like that, the rooftop bar. But Barry is a very, very successful businessman in his own right. Lovely, lovely guy. Meet him all over the place. Ben's me all the time about the industry, and you know, he knows it so well. But to get that kind of that knowledge and also from two guys like that who've got businesses themselves anyway, to give that time freely and for the good of the fellowship, unbelievable. Unbelievable, because not only have they got the contacts, but also the know-how, the knowledge of the industry. But, you know, to get the CEOs of companies to come and give that time for nothing as well, unbelievable. So, you know, all credit to them as well, the great guys.
Well, you heard him say as well, both of them, they've both got 5 kids each. Ken's probably, I think last time I spoke to him, he employs something like 40 odd, 50 staff. You know, it's a massive, massive salon down there in Cardiff Bay. And as all of them, Errol, everybody who works for Fellowship do it free of charge. It's, you know, nobody gets paid to do it. It's an organisation where people put their time and efforts into making things for British hairdressing and, you know, look better. And we're renowned, the Fellowship's renowned across the world for excellence in British hairdressing. It's one of the big staples there of what's in the calendar.
Do you think they know what's causing it?
Causing what?
All these kids.
Oh, well, I can't speak for Barry. It looks like he's doing really well, but obviously for Ken, there's not a lot to do in Wales, so it's easy to work out where Ken's coming from. And his wife's beautiful as well, so he's punching well above his weight. Anyway, we've got a knock-knock at the door. I think we've got our second guest coming up a little bit later than planned. But please welcome one of my oldest mates in the industry. Started off my career at Wahl with this young man, and he's done fantastic. He's a great ambassador for British barbering, and so many people have watched him over the years and wanted to be like him. But ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome on Barber's Arms, first of all, Mr. MK himself in the house.
How are you, mate?
MK, can you hear us? So many people watching over the years and wanting to be like it. But ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Barbers.
MK, turn your feed off.
What feed?
Are you listening to us on some?
Oh, right, yes, turn it down, babe. Sorry. Yeah, let the ladies that are having a little look in.
And it goes sideways. Can you turn your camera sideways?
Oh, okay. Yep. I can do that.
There you go. Perfect.
There you go.
You got it?
How you doing, brother?
I'm pretty good. Pretty good. I was trying to work out my background, but he was telling me I got to do it beforehand. So I thought the next best thing is I'll bring it on the telly.
Nice. You've done a good job there.
Yeah.
How's things?
I can't complain, mate. Can't complain. Life is good, man. It's good. Interesting. Definitely interesting. It's made one have to really think and sort of like pull the rabbit out the hat, sort of thing. Definitely.
Do you know what, MK? And I'm going to say this, and you know, everybody will think I'm you know, sucking up a little bit. But how many years we've known you for so many? I mean, we first met at Javier. I mean, probably 20 years ago. You've known Simon for years as well. We've worked together. But you do not change whatsoever. You look as young now as you did back then. You just nothing changes about you at all.
Oh, thank you. I think it's the beard, man. The beard. I'm just trying to keep it on point.
Wait, you succeeded. You look damn. I've been watching lots of your videos. Listening to you and Chris as a young guy when we first all started our careers at Wahl together. I have to say that you guys made clipper design, clipper artwork. You were the first two that really bursted onto the scene, and I was very privileged to work with you both at Wahl in them early days. And you both got on to have great careers as well. Love watching your Man is King stuff. Loved the interview with Audie Cummins. I know Audie was a big influence in your career. And he has been to so many other people, you know, and he still continues to do that through religious stuff as well. But my first question to you, MK, is who inspires you outside of the industry? Who do you look to? You know, we all look at different people outside the industry, but who is it the one that you look to that you think this guy or this woman inspires me so much?
You know what? Yeah, that's a good question. You know what? There's so many different people, so I can't even really pinpoint it. But I would think if there was a go-to each time, it would probably be someone like there's a guy called Les Brown, great motivational speaker. And I saw him do a talk once, and he was doing it in a football stadium. Just him on his own, football stadium. I was like, I've never seen a black guy doing a talk with this. Only like a rock star or movie star or someone that's got a full band behind him, but not just him and his voice. And he's filled out a whole arena. I was like, wow, that is amazing. And yeah, so I'd say Les Brown, definitely. Yeah, to be able to command an audience that big with just your voice and what you've got to say, then yeah, you've got to walk a good path. Definitely. So I'd say, yeah, definitely it's him. Other than that, I used to want to be Eddie Murphy when I was younger. Like, I just loved Eddie Murphy, man. I don't know what that was all about, but you know, you just watch Coming to America like 50 times. And then have you watched
the new one? I watched it last night, Coming to America 2.
Yeah.
Which is not a brilliant film, but it introduces you back to all the old. It's like reliving it to where they are now. I thought they did perfectly well, the candor, and especially when the twins came on at the end and did the rap.
Yeah, it was pure nostalgia, wasn't it? That's what it was.
Exactly. Yeah, really good.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, other than that, it's just everyone that just does good stuff, man. Everyone that's just good at what they do. Do you know what I mean? I've seen even people like yourself, Simon, man. When you go on stage and you just sort of like rock it with your personality, just go out there and give your character just raw, not afraid to be you. And all of those, that is just epic. Like when you can just go out anywhere and be yourself fully, wholeheartedly, wicked.
Thanks, bro.
Do you know what though? I mean, there's almost a control there though as well, MK. I think that comes with confidence, comes with experience a little bit as well, and your position where you are, you're positioned at the time. But you've had a really great journey to where you are now. You've done most things. You've been a platform artist, you're an educator, you're a salon owner. You've jumped all over the place. You've worked with really great people, and as Simon said earlier on, the list is endless. But getting back to how it's changed you now, how you work or how you're going to work within the salon, or education especially. And I know, you know, watch Training Day Tuesdays, and, you know, I'm sure Jackie's hoping she'll be listening to that, you know, when we talk about these things. You were in a tight team with Javier and he taught you a lot. But from an education point of view, COVID and lockdown and how it's changed your business, not being able to travel as Simon hasn't, as I haven't. So how's it affected how you work now, or how you've actually built your repertoire now for online learning, or is there any online?
Well, yeah, funny you say that. I mean, I'm launching my main site for education on Monday. I've had to pivot, obviously. What I've done during the lockdown is I've just worked with people privately, just doing coaching, speaking, doing a lot of talks and trying to motivate a lot of the youngsters as well, because they're kind of like been completely forgotten. All the adults are sort of like, you know, what do I do? What do I do? But you've got an intellect and you've got age on your side, you've got experience on your side, you've got a little bit of tough skin as well to kind of get you through it. But the youngsters that are coming through now, they just don't know what to do. They're like, well, I can't even go and get a job. I'm not even good enough to get a job, and I can't get a job. And like, so it was like, what do they do? So I was talking to a lot of youngsters, and I'm talking from here to Australia. I've been talking to little different training schools, doing motivational talks and talking to them, and just just making a little bit of money on the side there.
MK, you and Chris used to tell me stories, and I used to do a bit of it, but you know, the way we grew up as like 18, 19-year-olds coming through the business at Dimensions and UEOD, if you did something wrong, you were punished and you had to, but I would not change that. And I remember either you or Chris telling me that, you know, if you didn't do something right or you were late, you had to do press-ups or sit-ups but would you ever change that?
No, to be honest with you, the way that he trained me, I hated him and I loved him at the same time. Literally. And I would have to, because he was so good and I just wanted to be as good as him, I just sort of like just bit my tongue and just carried on and just watched him. And before you know it, I took his clientele, and it was great. And I ended up running his salon. I had about 14 staff underneath me, shift systems, working from 8 in the morning till 10 o'clock at night. And everyone that was in there was old enough to near enough be my dad or mum. Literally.
It's amazing.
Unbelievable. Just talking about.
I'll drink to that. I'm gonna have a shot. Since we're in the Barbers' arms, I thought I'll have a shot.
Well, he's out
drinking.
He's outdoing you tonight, Gary. Where's the shot system? What are you drinking tonight anyway, MK?
Bit of the old Henny. No, Cavassier. Oh, the Henny's finished. So
Gaz has got his flask up. You know, MK, Michael Damiano, all these guys, especially when we got to the Afro Awards, the cocktails and the shots that these guys drink is so much fun, and we've had some great times together. MK,
I've got a bone to pick with Gary. I really have, because I'm watching this show right before I've come on, and I'm telling you, Simon, right, this guy, and he can take testament to this. Yeah, first time I've gone with Javier, these guys have gone, "What you drinking, MK?" And I'm like, "I'm having a Grand Marnier." And they're like, "What's that sissy drink you're drinking?" Yeah, that's what they said. They called it a sissy drink. And there I come. The first time he's come to interview me, he's there mixing cocktails, with his fancy glass, saying, "Yeah, he's ripping it around. You can even add a bit of slice of peach in there or whatever bloody fruit it is." All fruity. What the hell's going on?
MK, I'll have a drink to that to you, mate. He does say to me, he's a lager out and a beer out, but yeah, you're right. He's a fan. He's been having cocktails. That's his 46th cocktail. The guy that doesn't have sissy drinks has had sissy drinks for the last 46 weeks. What's wrong with you, guy?
MK, the thing is, I've learned to be a team member and take one for the team. That's what the show's taught me. I have to take one for the team, you see.
Well, that's what he says, MK. But anyway, MK, I've got a question, a serious question for you.
Yeah,
Think
go
about
ahead.
this. Let's just say somebody came in and said, I love your work and everything. I'm a multimillionaire and I want to give you £200,000 to start up a business tomorrow. What business would that be? Would you still stay in barbering, or is there something else that you got 200 grand to set up this new business? What would it be?
I think it would really be it would still be the same. It would be the same. I would just do it better. I would just do it much better. And I would invest heavily into training to do with business. I really would like the focus to be a business. And that's what I'm about even now, because I'm trying to say to these apprentices, because a lot of these apprentices, they're like, you know what, I don't know how to cut hair and all I'm doing is sweeping and whatever. And I'm like, look, there's a lot of things going on. And I'm trying to teach them how to think that outside of cutting hair, there's so many things that a client would leave that shop for. Now, those things that the client would leave the shop for are the things that you need to focus on getting better at, because that way you increase your value in that business and you increase your worth to the business. So I'm just trying to get them to think like a businessman, even if you're just one guy, even if you're apprentice, you ain't even cut no one's hair yet. Where can I make money in this shop? And when we start getting guys to think like that, I think our businesses will flourish. But it does need to happen in the college. But I know it's not equipped to do the business side. But yeah, I would do it.
I agree with you, especially the retail side of it. You know, I've been doing a lot of these things on Team Talks, and the retail side of it for barbering and hairdressing is still so low down there. It's like going to a doctor. He's told you you've got a sore throat. He's told you exactly how to get it better, but you walk out without a prescription. It's the same thing when you go for your hair cutting. You're going and walking out, and you're not being offered a product, but 95% of people that walk out of the salon will wash their hair, will style their hair. So if they're not buying it from you, where are they buying it from?
Exactly.
So a quick question on the back of that then, you would get £200,000 and you would do the same.
Yeah, but the difference is I would not step foot inside that business. That's the difference. Whereas if I'd known what I know now, I would have not stepped foot inside the business, not one day.
So taking it a little step further, if you had chance of one destination to start over again and not step in the business, but have the £200,000 with all your knowledge, where would you open up?
I'd go back home. I'd go back home to Sierra Leone. I'd open it up and I would just mack it out for everyone over there and make sure that the business is set up and they got their products and they got tools and they're just, we start an industry. Definitely. I mean, recently I've just been in touch with, there's an association out there in Ghana called GABSO, and GABSO have about 2,000 members. And I was like, what? 2,000? I started getting in touch with them, talking to them. I just donated all my stuff. I was like, yeah, take all of that. All the stuff that I've had for the last, I don't know, 10, 13 years, I just gave it all to them. I said, look, give this to your barbers. Hopefully they'll get a good start. Tell them to start watching Training Day Tuesday. Let's see what we can do for them. Oh, sorry. What I just did there.
Are you still there?
I'm still there.
MK, you know, we go back a long time. You go back to Abbey Days, Skill Team. You know, when you were expert working group. You know, we worked on the national standards together. You know, made great progress. And I want to ask you about qualifications, where education's going as well at the same time. But do you still think qualifications are still relevant? That's one, just quickly. And two, you know, when you started and, you know, where you started down there and you are where you are now, what would be the one piece of advice you'd give somebody, to yourself or somebody who's just starting in the industry?
Right. In terms of what I'm trying to remember the first question. What I would say is, if I was going to give advice to myself as a youngster, 16-year-old, I would say, for one, make sure you take a picture of every single piece of work that you do, because there's no one going to be a better critic than yourself. No one likes how they looked probably about 10 years ago, 5 years ago, with however they were dressing or however they had their hair. They look back at their pictures and they go, what was I doing? What was I doing? It was the barber. Where did I get those clothes from? Why did I like that top? All of that jazz. So you're your own best critic. So other than that, I'd say definitely find a mentor, and talk to them and make sure you stay on track, because it's so easy to let yourself down. So easy to let yourself down. And the other thing would be, make sure you enter as many competitions as you possibly can. And it's not to win, it's just to understand where you are in the industry. That would be one of the things that I'd say to them. I can't remember the first question you said.
You know, you've been heavily into education. I mean, you've even been up to us. A long time ago.
Yeah, qualifications. Yeah, it's still relevant. It's as relevant as it was back in 1993 when I took my first qualification. It's just as relevant as it was then as it is now. And I couldn't even get it. I didn't know you needed it. I didn't know you should have it or you shouldn't have it. I just said, you know what? I want to be good and I want to make sure I got the paperwork to prove it. And I want to be around the best. So even whilst I was at college, I made sure I did work experience at every salon near enough around that college. My college was London College of Fashion on Oxford Street. Worked at Tony and Guy, worked at Joshua Galvin, worked at Shipton, Leighton and Low. That was where I met Desmond Murray. And yeah, just scouted around and made sure I got the knowledge from all of the salons that were doing things that just made your mouth drop and go, wow, how did they afford all of this? This salon looks bad. And I would just go in there and just learn. But I never told them I was barbering. They would send me here. I used to flag cabs, clean products. But I just wanted to learn the system. And I spent my time focusing on the receptionist. Not because she was pretty. Yes, she was. Yes, she was. I'm not going to lie. Yes, she was. Yeah. But the thing about it is, although she was pretty, she knew everything in the business. I didn't need to talk to anyone else. She knew everything. She knew the manager's schedule. She knew when they were doing this. She knew how much money they were taking. She knew the sales. She knew who was the best one. She knew who was the worst one. She knew who was crap at turning up on time. She knew who took ages doing hair. She knew everything. I just spent all the time talking to receptionists. I knew the business. Amazing. So get to know the receptionist. If you're in a busy salon, learn the receptionist. Don't date her. Don't even try it. Yeah, it doesn't work.
So, MK, we're gonna move on to some quick fire questions in a minute, but a question that I've not really asked that many people, but obviously with your longevity in this industry, which I've known you for years, and you've always been about, man, you're a true pro and such a nice guy. I love seeing your exhibitions because you've always got a smile on your face. You always give me a big hug, and you know, people like yourself, or you only see at exhibitions, but you look forward to, like, MK's here, let me go over and speak to him. That's the kind of infection that you have on people. But what would you like it's not a morbid question, this, but so I'm going to turn it around a little bit where it's written. The question is, what would you want to be remembered by? But it's not like you're going away, but the legacy. What kind of legacy, when you've hung your clippers up and your scissors up, what kind of things would you want to be remembered by?
Good question. Good question. You know what? Just someone that was about change and improvement. Definitely. Someone that was about change and improvement. When I came into this industry, there was no barbers on stage. There was no barbers on stage. In 1998, was the first time I went on stage.
Wembley.
Yeah. First time I went on stage with Wahl. And I was like, what is this? And I remember walking around the stages, walking around the arena, wondering what was going on. And I was like, look at these hairdressers. I'm like, why is there no barbers? And more so, I'm standing there like, why are there no black barbers? Or why there's no, I just didn't see anything. And I was just like, you know what? I'm going to be that guy. I'm going to be that guy. And I just went about saying, you know what, whatever I do, I'm just going to do it damn good. I'm going to put everything that I have, my heart, my mind, my soul, and I put my whole being into a performance. I didn't just go and do a good haircut. I made sure that I connected with the people. I made sure that my character was in there. My history was in there. What I learned last week, today, what I'm thinking about tomorrow was all in that performance. And that was how I went about it. And we used to have people sitting down having lunch watching us back at Wembley. It was amazing. It was absolutely fun. And that time there was no YouTube, there was no Instagram, none of that stuff. So people had long attention spans, not like now where they just got like.
And Alexandra Palace as well.
Yes, all of that. Yeah, I love that. And I love the live competitions. Love the live competitions. But yeah, if there was anything to remember for was, yeah, I gave it my all, man. I gave it my all, and I helped change the industry, and I believe I did, because it wasn't going on. There wasn't guys. Oh, thank you.
And listen, did you see Kevin Lunchman on the show last week? He tells a story that he watched you at exhibitions and he wanted to be like you. Did you see that?
Wow.
So Kevin Lunchman said, and he's told me on many occasions, but last week on the show, he was a guest on the show, and he's a great presenter and a fantastic hairdresser and barber. But he did say that he watched you when he was growing up, and he wanted to be like you.
Well, I'm touched to hear that. Proper touched to hear that. He's a great guy, and when he came to work with me, and the way that he was, I mean, I went to his house, met his parents, the whole night. When I've got staff, I get involved. I will always go to their house. I'll always meet their family. I want to know more about them, because if I don't know about them, I can't really help them. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes some people are not good at expressing what they want because they don't even know what they want. Sometimes you got to help them to show them what they want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And yeah, working with Kevin, it was really good. His friends, that was where I met Sam Wahl through Kevin. And Sam Wahl was so impressed with what we was doing, the way we was doing it. It was him, it was myself and what we were doing that got him into hairdressing as well. I said, you know what, I want to get in. These guys look like they're having fun. They look like they're really enjoying themselves. They look like they've got style. They just look like they're just having and enjoying life. And if I can do that, then why would I stop, man? Why would I stop?
Yeah, no, mate, we don't want you to stop. We want you to keep entertaining the crowds like you do. Keep doing your Manny's King stuff. People love watching your Education Tuesdays. I think you're a massive name in this industry. You're an integral part of British barbering. And I think you've done so much for like black stylists, black barbers all across the world, not just here in the UK, mate. You're right. You were the first on that stage with Chris Foster. And not only did you do well, you bossed it. You fetched everything. You fetched magic to the stage. You did it.
Yeah, you know what? I had someone remind me. I don't know if you ever remember this, Simon. Someone reminded me today, and they spoke as if it was only like 4 years ago. And she said, "Oh, I remember you, MK. I remember you pretending to be a surgeon." And I was like, "Do you know how long ago that was? What are you talking about?"
I can remember that. I can remember it.
I'd even forgotten about that. I dressed up as a surgeon. I had another guy who was my barber at the time. Them's called Delwyn George, brilliant barber, who I actually found out was my relative whilst I was working with him for Audi. No lie. I swear to you, no lie, no word of a lie. He's actually my cousin. Yeah, not like play cousins. Like, oh, you know, you're respectful to his mum, so you say his auntie and now his family. Not one of those ones. I'm talking like his blood, yeah? So anyway, I'm in all these. We're sitting down. We're just having a rap about uncles and aunties and family and all that jazz. And we're talking about one uncle that's got this TV up in the freaking ceiling, right? And you got to eat your dinner or you got to watch the thing like that. And I was like, I've got an uncle like that. And he's like, where is this? And he goes, no, he lives in Delaware. What is he? What's his name? Yeah, his name's George. My uncle's name's George. The TV at the top. Yeah. So what's his wife's name? He's like, and we found out in a lunch break that we were related. It was ridiculous. But anyway, I digress. So he was the actual doctor. He was the actual like trainee doctor. I was the doctor that we brought in from Africa. I was a specialist African doctor of barbering. And we had to do this operation on this cut. And it was just epic. We dressed up. We had the whole gown. We was wearing gloves and masks before anybody. Yeah, remember that? Before it was fashionable, we was wearing gloves and masks and the whole nine. Yeah.
These guys were on stage with masks on, gloves on. Him and Chris were the pioneers in this, and especially MK, because he did it with character. He did it with the swagger. He did it that people, like Kevin Lunchman said, I want to be him. And that's leadership. That's qualities that you can't train people to do that. You can't train people to be a leader. You can't train Audie Cummings to be what he was. You either are it or you're not. You either lead or you follow. And MK is a leader.
And you know what? And that is why I had to pay so much homage to Audie Cummings, because with his innovation at that time in the late 80s, early 90s, and then to go on to influence people like me, Chris Foster, the other people it's influenced, Delwyn George, Wesley Regis, down to Kevin Lutchman. And then I remember reading an article saying that Kevin Lutchman has revolutionized the barbering in Tony and Guy. And I'm like, wow, Audie has actually transcended to then go directly to Tony and Guy and transcend their barbering. Now, no one would know this unless these interviews like what you're doing now is taking place. So I give respect fully to you guys doing what you're doing. And this is why I do what I do. And I respect you guys for doing what you're doing, because these are the untold stories and sometimes they need to be said.
I think it's a magic. You know, Gary, me and you are so lucky because me and Gaz interview people. Sometimes I know him, sometimes he knows them. But we're so fortunate that we learn so much on these shows that we get some like important stuff. But as I say, what I told you and what, hang on a minute, 74,000 people last week was, Kevin said that when he came to a Salon International or an exhibition, he watched MK and he wanted to be like you. So, amazing.
Yeah.
MK, we're going to finish off with some quick fire questions.
Yep, fire away.
Builds a little profile. I know you've watched Barbers Arms, so you know what's coming up. And we're going to go back to the original questions that we didn't ask the other guys. But what's your favourite food?
Oh, I would say it is. Yeah, it's my mum's. It's my mum's food. It's my mum's food. Crank.
Do you know what? Can you remember Louis from
Sava.
Canada, Gary? Gary, can you remember Louis from Canada when I said, what's your favourite music? And he went, good. That's the same answer. What's your favourite music? What's your favourite food? My mum's. What's your favourite drink?
Grand Marnier.
Gran.
Why are you laughing, Mackie, with your fancy glass? I didn't even know if it was a chandelier or a glass.
Keep giving him some stick, MK. What's your favourite destination?
Turkey, it has been.
Turkey. What's your favourite music?
Rare Groove, which is an old form of soul. It's like soul, but it's rare. It's called Rare Groove. Let's just keep it as that.
And who would be your ideal dinner date?
Oh.
can be anybody that's alive, dead. Who would you have loved to have dinner with?
I think it would be Prince.
Do you know something? For a minute there, I thought you were going to say Margaret Thatcher, because she's right at the top of our hit parade. No, she is. She's right at top of the hit parade. MK, MUCKTARU KARGBO, one of the biggest names in the barbering industry, here on Barbers Arms for his first appearance. Guys, all the information will be on the Barbers Arms website, which is the barbersarms.co.uk. If you want to watch this episode, I know we've got lots of people watching us tonight, and then I know there'll be thousands watching throughout the week. So make sure you have a look at MK's Instagrams and his websites, and also his Facebooks. But MK's having his favourite food, which is his mum's food. He just loves his mum's food. He's having his favourite drink, which is a Grand Marnier. He's doing all this in his favourite destination, which is Turkey. He's listening to some old soul music, and he's doing all this with the amazing artist that was formerly known as Prince. MK, thank you for being on Barbers Arms. It's been a pleasure, bro. You are a gent and a ledge.
Thank you. Appreciate the time.
MK, you've been an inspiration over the years, mate. Love working with you. We've had some great...
I think before we go, I think it should be one more shot. Come on.
Definitely.
Share this shot with me.
I haven't been doing shots lately, but I'll have a big
no
swig
fruit in there.
I'll have a big swig of macaroni.
We don't want any fruit in there as well, Gary. Just do the
Whiskey.
shot down it.
Whiskey.
There you go. Cheers.
Slange bar.
Cheers.
Cheers, pal. Speak to you soon. Hope to see you soon.
Thank you so much, guys. Thanks for having me.
See you, brother.
Inspiration.
It's been a busy show tonight, mate.
Oh, I've had some cock end phoning me all the way through the show. You know, I kept going off. Bloody hell.
I didn't notice.
Yeah. Oh, thanks very much. Great.
Well,
great.
no, you're looking at your screen, so it kept moving about, but I didn't really notice. But no, I thought it was a good show tonight. I thought the guys from Fellowship were fantastic. MK is what he is. He's a legend. What can I say? Another great show on Barbers Arms.
Well, MK, I mean, there's so many stories. We could spend a whole show with MK. You know so many. I know so many. The places we've been, the things we've done, and the stuff he's done as well. But absolutely great show. Loved every minute of it, of course. But you know, from all of us at the Barbers Arms, it's last orders. So from me, you know, on reflection, it's been hard. Harder than we thought. We've got 3 weeks on Monday to go to get back to some sort of normality. You know the old saying, which is, you know, idle hands. It's unfortunate, and you know we can't change things. But to everybody out there, speak to everybody you know. Give somebody a ring you haven't spoke to for a while. Give them some barber love. From me, see you next week. Over to you, Simon.
Thanks, Gaz. We've got Chris Vaughan coming up next week from California. If everybody went to Salon International, if you see Chris, he sounds like Barack Obama. He looks like Barack Obama, but he cuts hair as good as me and Gaz. Chris is going to join us next week from California. And then we've got an old gent in the house. Rob Ricks is going to be joining us in the house from the Master Cutters in Southport. So another busy show next week. As Gaz said, it's been a tough one. I do apologise for everybody who watched very early doors. It's a live show. I'm only human. I'm going to dedicate this show to Giovanni Tonisi, a giant. You know, you've left a massive gap in everybody's life, pal. Anybody who's out there, Trevor's going to put up on this show afterwards all the outlines. If you need to talk to people, if you need any help, reach out to me and Gaz. You've got us Instagrams, Simon Shaw, Wahl. Gaz is the British barber, barbers_arms, or you can get us in touch with us at thebarbersarms.co.uk. If anybody's struggling, just pick the phone up. Whatever, you know, I'll try and get back to anybody in that day, but please just talk to people. You don't realise till people have gone how important you were or how much people thought about you. Dedicate the show tonight to Big G.
Good health, everybody. Have a safe weekend. See you next week for our next show.